I think out of all of the phones that was launched recently, this is one of the highly hyped phones that I think deserves your attention. Introducing the new Xiaomi 15T Pro. I am surprised by the tremendous value that this phone has to offer. We'll go through all of the details in today's review, so do remember to hit and like and subscribe button. And we'll start off by talking about the performance, as this is the most surprising part about the Xiaomi 15T Pro. It comes packed with the MediaTek Dimensity 9400 Plus chipset. This is, I think, the first time that we are testing a phone with this chipset, and I have high hopes for it, as the base version Dimensity 9400 was already plenty powerful. For our variant in particular, it comes with 12 gigs of RAM and also a terabyte of storage, but the RAM amount doesn't matter much, the RAM speed matters. Check out our video at the top right corner there to know why. Luckily though, the Xiaomi 15T Pro comes with LPDDR5X. Now, when we hopped into Genshin Impact at the highest graphical settings, the frame rate was basically just 60 FPS consistently throughout our entire 40 minutes of gameplay. It could be due to the 15T Pro supporting Vulkan API for Genshin Impact, as that is much more efficient than the previously used OpenGL. We did split this test into technically 3 parts. The first part is all of the quests and stuff, and that works flawlessly at 60 FPS. Secondly, we went to the Holiday Island location and explored around, and that is also consistently at 60 FPS, though the temperature was rising a bit, but it didn't impact the performance at all. And the third part is for fun. We also did Abyss Floors 9 and 10, and it also maintained 60 FPS with no frame drops. That is amazing. And then comes Zenless Zone Zero. This is the most demanding game out of all, and it does stutter even on the highest end smartphones that we have right now. And the Xiaomi 15T Pro handled it like a champ even at the highest graphical settings. The frame rate did fluctuate, but it's only within a small range, and it was mostly hovering at around 50 FPS most of the time. And the overall gameplay while fighting this flower boss was supremely smooth. One of the best, I'd say. Wuthering Waves is another demanding game. We maxed out the graphical quality and we can indeed turn on Vulkan API for it as well. It is much more demanding compared to Genshin Impact, and it hovers at around 40 to 50 FPS, and it was great as there was no major frame rate fluctuation to the point that it is distracting. The overall gameplay is once again very pleasant and smooth. The thermal limit seems to be at around 45.5 degrees Celsius, but because of the tuning via software, it doesn't actually affect the frame rate much, even if it did reach the thermal limit and thermal throttle. That is great, and I'm just surprised by how well optimized it is to make the MediaTek Dimensity 9400 Plus performs the way it is on the Xiaomi 15T Pro. We now also have to talk about the battery life. The Xiaomi 15T Pro comes packed with a 5500 mAh battery, and it can last for around 16.5 hours in our standardized battery life test. In comparison, other phones with this battery capacity will also yield about the same result in this test too. As for the charging speed, the Xiaomi 15T Pro comes with a proprietary 90W charger in the box, and with its default settings, it can reach from 15% to completion in less than 50 minutes. That's surprisingly fast, as this phone is indeed using a 5500 mAh battery. In the settings menu, if we turn up the fastest charging speed possible, it can reach 15% to completion in less than 35 minutes. That is a huge time save. And when we plug this phone into our USB PD PPS charger, it can still take in around 25 watts average, and it can take less than an hour to charge completely. That's actually quite good as well, though it is not as fast as when we're using the proprietary charger. And then comes the screen. It is using a 6.83-inch OLED panel with a resolution of 2772 by 1280 pixels and can go up to 144Hz refresh rate, slightly higher than most phones in the market today. This new screen has extremely thin bezels around all sides, and the phone is also quite wide. From my calculations, the aspect ratio of this display is approximately 19.5 by 9. With our colorimeter, we got started with the testing and found out that this display can go up to 1150 nits in maximum auto brightness. Xiaomi did mention that the peak brightness is at 3200 nits, but our testing methodology is different from Xiaomi's. And the color accuracy is also quite good. The default settings with the original Color Pro color profile will yield around 98.96% of sRGB and 72.87% of DCI-P3 color gamut coverage, with a very low delta E number across the board. We can also head into the settings menu to turn up the color saturation by selecting the saturated color profile. Captain Obvious, I know, and that cranks up the sRGB and DCI-P3 color gamut coverage to about 100%. While the delta E number might seem high, it is actually an outlier since the average is so low. As a quick recap, having a higher DCI-P3 color gamut coverage will increase the color saturation, so it depends on how you like your phone's colors to be. If you like the colors to be more saturated, then just change it in the settings menu. If you are already thinking that this phone looks awfully similar to another phone, then yeah, I get it. I thought it was the same too. Anyway, the Xiaomi 15T Pro is available in a few different colors and we got it in the grey color variant here. The Mocha Gold is also unique in its own way and I do think that it looks very chic. And I thought that the camera bump is going to be thick as well, but no, it is actually chamfered around the edges, which I think looks really nice. We have a total of 3 cameras here and they are all quite fantastic actually. The 5x optical zoom is certainly worth highlighting as it is usually only found in flagships, not in any phones of this price point. I think the 4th circle in the camera bump is for the laser autofocus as well as for the IR blaster as well. Either way, we have a big Leica logo here, so of course we have both Leica Authentic and Leica Vivid color profiles as well. And I'm more like a point and shoot kind of guy, so don't expect any fancy photography from me. Anyway, it's good in all scenarios. The colors and clarity is great for all the cameras, but it really depends if you like Leica Authentic or Leica Vivid more, as they will change how the colors will turn out. I personally prefer Leica Vivid more as the Authentic's vignette effect is, well, not really my cup of tea. And since I'm a point and shoot kind of guy, I think the fast shoot mode is more suitable for my use case most of the time. It's a feature that's previously only on the Xiaomi 15 and 15 Ultra, and it basically gives me the ability to start spamming the shutter key while changing the focal lengths. It's similar to how wedding photographers will always bring multiple cameras with different lenses, but now all of that is packed into this one smartphone. The Xiaomi 15T Pro can also film up to 4K 120fps using the main camera, but let's talk about the 4K 60fps videos at night first. There are some jitters due to the EIS system, but overall the colors and clarity are great. Now, the 4K 120fps is a mode that I personally like because I can slow it down to 50% and still get super smooth 60fps video, or I can slow it down to a quarter and get super slow motion footages at 30fps. Remember, it is in 4K resolution. We can also capture 8K 30fps videos or capture 4K 60fps in log format and then color calibrate it later in our editing software. Again, these features are mostly found in flagships only and now it is all packed in the 15T Pro. As for the software, the Xiaomi 15T Pro is using HyperOS 2 and it will soon be updated to HyperOS 3. As of now, the functionality of it is pretty much the same as any other Xiaomi phones that we've reviewed so far, so check out our review of the Xiaomi 15T Pro instead. It's smooth, has a lot of fancy animations, and I'm glad Xiaomi fixed the battery drain issue that we found on the 15 Ultra. We were also informed that the 15T Pro will receive 5 generations of Android OS upgrades and 6 years of security patches. Though I'm not sure if the upcoming HyperOS 3 will be counted as a generation of Android OS upgrade or not. And a few more things to speed run through. The Xiaomi 15T Pro uses a USB 2.0 port at the bottom and does not have display output capability, has dual SIM card slots, and also uses a laser autofocus for the cameras as the IR blaster for remote control as well. so dual purpose for that IR blaster. The Xiaomi 15T Pro is also rated for IP68, water and dust resistance, so that's great. Finally, do I recommend you to buy this phone? I'd say yes, especially if you're gaming on it. The Xiaomi 15T Pro is tuned very well to handle the MediaTek Dimensity 9400 Plus and does not have any major frame rate fluctuations when it reached the thermal limit, and still be able to take great pictures and videos as well. The battery life alongside the charging speed are also great, and yet it all hinges on the price. And here they are. Looking at the prices and promotions for the Xiaomi 15T Pro alongside its variants, I have to say the price got a tiny hike for the 256GB variant, but remains the same for other storage options. There are also pre-order bonuses as shown on the screen here, which I don't want to try to read it to you, so just pause this video if you want to read it. The pre-order promotion runs from 25th September to 2nd October 2025, so get yours today if you like what you saw. For more information, of course, you can check out the Xiaomi store near you or mi.com, or check all of the links down in the description below. And yeah, that's all that we have to share with you about this brand new Xiaomi 15T Pro. Honestly speaking, the Dimensity 9400 Plus, amazing chipset, and I am really glad Xiaomi managed to tune it to the way that it did in our gaming tests, because that was fantastic, really amazing.